Hey guys, what's going on? This is GJR Riley, and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite budget light. These old ARRIlites 600s and 650s. So these are somewhere between $125 and $175, mattering on what you get them with. They often come in sets. You can typically find 2 or 3 for like $400. They're tungsten. You can run different level bulbs, so if you need different outputs, I'm running 600 or 650 watt 120 volt bulbs, but you can run whatever your country needs and whatever the situation requires. So an interesting thing about the ARRIlites, they're not a Fresnel, so you don't end up with a very tight beam. These are a little weird. You're able to change whether they're a spot or more of an area, and so it does affect it. The width of your output and your degree of output does change, and your intensity changes. So I've got one of these set up as my key light, and it's wide setting just to give me a little bit less output and less harsh of a light. Just to give you some idea, this is probably 6 feet away from me, with a half double scrim, and I think it's a 650 or 6. I don't know what bulb I'm at. ISO 400, 1/60th of a second, and f5. So you get plenty of light out of these for their money. You're not going to find a light at this range that outputs this much power that's silent. You do have options like the original Godox SL60 and those, but those are super loud. To get lights that are silent or at least semi-quiet typically involves stepping up into the $300 or $400 price category. They can be found with barn doors, as I mentioned. You can put scrims in them. You can put single scrims, double scrims, and then half versions of those. So those are basically designed to cut the light output a little bit and then modify it. So you can get a bit softer of a light. That's what scrims typically do, in addition to reducing output. Bulbs are super cheap. There are still companies making them. They're like, I want to say $10-15 each. No. I want to say $5 to $15, mattering on who makes them. These lights are durable. They're, say, a hard plastic mixed with metal. Yeah. Mine are one set of mine has an old NBC news crew asset tag on them, so these have been pretty well used and abused. This one's missing its top lock to hold in gels. They got double position yokes, so you can hang them vertically or like that. They're pretty light. I wouldn't have any issues. I put them on pretty small light stands, and I've got them on some fatter light stands, and they do just fine. They're not heavy. They are a bit of a power hog, so you only get, on a US 15 amp outlet, you only get 2, and then maybe a 300 watt. You could maybe push 3, but that's kind of outside of a typical 15 amp for any extended amount of time. And on a 20 amp, you can run probably 3 of these and a little bit more. So certainly not very power efficient, but because they're tungsten, they're super color accurate. And you can do different weird effects with tungsten. You're not gelling lights to get tungsten color, but because of that, you can't match them with daylight unless that's the look you're going for. So these are not good lights if you're trying to add something to daylight, but because gelling these over daylight will cut a lot of your output. Both of mine are priced in pretty early copies, and they're already in the high 9,000 range. So I would guess there were tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of these made. There's a decent supply on eBay last time I looked. I wouldn't expect that these are all going to completely go out, but more and more people are moving to LEDs, so maybe some of these will end up getting sold. Quick helpful thing, don't touch, because they're tungsten, they get hot. Don't get your oils on the bulbs, that will burn them out. Don't get your hands on the scrims or the protective mesh. They'll burn it. Yeah, and you don't want the burn, because that'll be what in the end destroys them. Either the bulbs or the scrims. These lights certainly aren't as flexible as an LED that's bicolor or that's flexible colors, and you can put soft boxes on it. I wouldn't run soft boxes on these. Are they the perfect light? No. I think they're a great budget option compared to a lot of the cheap LEDs that are out there that just aren't very color accurate or aren't very bright or loud and noisy. So ARRIlites 600s or 650s are my pick over them. If you guys like this video, like it. If you didn't, that other button seems to work okay. Get subscribed. I'll catch you guys in the next one.